Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Walk Before You Run. Let me switch my glasses out. Um, Today I want to talk about some or all. And I want to take a look at Luke 5. Luke 5 says, "It came to pass that as the people pressed upon him to hear the word of God, he stood by the lake of Gennesaret. I hope I'm saying that right, Gennesaret, and saw two ships standing by the lake. But the fishermen were gone out of them and were washing their nets. And he entered into one of the ships, which was Simon's, and prayed him that he would thrust out a little from land. He sat down and taught the people out of the ship. Now, when he had left speaking, he said unto Simon, Launch out into the deep and let down your nets with an S for a draught. And Simon answering said unto him, Master, we have that they should come and help them. And they came and filled both the ships, so that they began to sink. Now they began to sink because they were filling their ship with the fish from the net. When Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, Depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord. And why was he calling himself sinful? Because Jesus told him to let down the nets. And instead of him just immediately doing what Jesus told him to do, he's trying to tell Jesus why he shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it because we already did that. Well, I already did that. I already did it. Nothing happened. But he still obeyed him somewhat because Jesus told him to let down the nets. But Simon only let down one net. So he obeyed him, sort of. Um, I've had a discussion with my father about obedience. So when you obey God some, but not all, is that obedience or is that disobedience? It's kind of like if you tell part truth, is it the truth or is it a lie? Because it's not all the truth. But it goes on to say that in verse 9, for he was astonished and all that were with him at the draught of the fish which they had taken. And so was also James and John, the sons of Zebedee, which were partners with Simon. And Jesus said unto Simon, Fear not, from henceforth thou shalt catch men. And when they had brought their ships to land, they forsook all and followed him. I love this because for several things. I love it because it teaches us that we should do all of what Jesus tells us to do. When God tells us to do something, we shouldn't just do half of it, but we should do all of it. Because if we don't do all of it, we might miss out on some of the blessings that he has in store for us. But I love the fact that um, he didn't really miss out, but his disobedience or the lack of full obedience allowed others to participate in the blessing of God because he had to call for help. When he saw that that one net wasn't going to do it, he didn't put down the nets and that one net was breaking. He had to call somebody else. So that allowed his partners to partake in the blessings that Jesus had for Simon Peter. And God already knew that Simon was not going to put down all the nets. And he knew that the sons of Zebedee were close by. So he knew that his blessing was going to flow further than just to Simon. He knew that his blessing of the fish was going to flow also to the sons of Zebedee, James and John. But what I love about this is that the amazement in the blessing of God made them not just be selfish and think, ooh, if I can get, this amount of fish, then maybe he'll bless me with more and more fish. And then I can become a millionaire. But Jesus told them after he showed them what he could do through them and for them, Jesus told them, come with me, and you won't just be catching fish to eat for a day. I am going to make you a fisherman of men. You're going to be able to draw men in, just like you drew in so many that your net broke. You're going to speak the word of God, and you're going to draw so many that if there were a net, that it would break. And so I love that. I love how big uh, God sees for us. He can see bigger than we can see for ourselves. Sometimes our mind is so small in what we are trusting God for. But God has much more than we can ever imagine in store for us. All we have to do is faithfully be obedient, fully obedient, some or all. We have to be all in. When God tells us to do something, we have to be totally all in. Because when we're somewhat in, we'll see that we would have had more had we been more obedient, had we been all in. And so I love this story. Go back and read it for yourself. And maybe God has something else in there for you to glean from it, because I know I can't gather everything that God has in those 11 verses. And so perhaps there's more that you can glean that would even be bigger for you and break those nets of doubt in your life. I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me for Walk Before You Run.